Hi, in this video we are asked, find the equation of the quadratic function with zeros 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7 that contains the point 5, 3. It wants us to express our answer in vertex form. So just like in the last videos, we've got our function f of x is equal to a times x minus r times x minus s. And we know that our zeros are 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7. So let's say that r is equal to 2 plus root 7 and s is equal to 2 minus root 7. Now what we call r and s is completely arbitrary. So r could have been 2 minus root 7 and s could have been 2 plus root 7. The order doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and we'll fill in our function. Well, we've got that f of x would be equal to, if we actually plug in r and s, we get f of x would be equal to a times x minus bracket 2 plus root 7 bracket bracket times x minus bracket 2 minus root 7. So I just substituted r and s. Now I know that if I substitute 5 in for x, which I can denote like this, f of 5 should spit out the value 3, because 5, 3 is on the graph of our function. So that means that 3, I'll get 3 for y, or 3 for f, when x is equal to 5. So I'm going to replace I'll replace y with 3, or f of x with 3, and I'll replace x with 5. So I get a times 5 minus bracket 2 plus root 7 times 5 minus bracket 2 minus root 7. And now we can actually solve this equation because I've got it in terms of a bunch of numbers in a single variable. So 5 minus 2 plus root 7. I think I'm missing a bracket here. So 5 minus 2 plus root 7. If I distribute the negative into the bracket, I would get 5 minus 2 minus root 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. And so I get 3 minus root 7 inside the first bracket. In the next bracket, I've got 5 minus 2 when I distribute the negative, which is 3. And then I'll have minus root 7, which is plus root 7. So now I've got this in a convenient form for multiplying these two numbers here, because I've got a product of conjugates. So since I'm multiplying conjugates, I would get a times bracket 3 squared minus root 7 squared. Well, 3 squared is 9. Root 7 squared is 7. So 9 minus 7 is 2. And thus I get 2a is equal to 3. We can divide both sides by 2 to isolate for a, and we get that a is equal to 3 halves. So that gives us the a value of our function. But notice that the question wants us to express our answer in vertex form. And so one thing that we could do is we could certainly plug in 3 over 2 for a here, and then expand this and then complete the square to figure out what the function is in vertex form. But that's a little bit algebraically intensive, so there might be a better way to do this. Well, to write our function in vertex form looks like this. Vertex form is f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Now, if we think about this, well, we already have a. A is 3 over 2. We need to figure out what h and k are. Now, our zeros are 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7. Now, because of symmetry, our vertex is, the x value of our vertex, h, is exactly halfway between 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7. So let's just add this up. Well, h is equal to r plus s over 2, which is equal to 2 plus root 7 plus 2 minus root 7 divided by 2. So h should be equal to 2. So now our function looks like this. We have f of x is equal to 3 over 2 times x minus 2, because h was equal to 2, squared plus k. Now, we don't know what k is, and k is what we need to figure out to sort of finish off this function. K is the only missing piece of information left over. So notice again here that we could plug in the point 5 comma 3 and then solve for k. So let's do f of 5 should be equal to 3. So 3 is equal to 3 over 2. We'll sub in 5 for x, and we get 3 is equal to 3 over 2 times 5 minus 2 squared plus k. And all that I've done is I've just substituted 5 for x and 3 for f of x. Now I can go ahead and I can solve this equation for k. I get 3 is equal to 3 over 2 times, well, 5 minus 2 squared is 9. So I get 3 over 2 times 9 plus k. 3 over 2 times 9 is 27 over 2. So I get 27 over 2 plus k is equal to 3. I can subtract 27 over 2 from both sides, and I get that k is equal to 3 minus 27 over 2. I can rewrite 3 as 6 over 2 to find a common denominator. And I get k is equal to 6 over 2 minus 27 over 2. So that's k would be equal to, let me rewrite this so that k is on the left. K would be equal to minus 21 over 2. So therefore, the function is f of x is equal to 3 over 2 times x minus 2 squared minus 21 over 2, where we finally figured out what k is.